Welcome to the Elusive Truth with Rich and Larry. I'm your host, Rich, and Larry is working on getting himself better, and I am sure we will hear from him soon. Starting things off, we're going to Fox News, The Five. Got Jesse Waters, Gutfeld, and we're talking about Columbia University and Minneapolis. These protesters are places you don't want to go near. Have a listen.
Anti-ICE protests broke out today right here in New York City. Arrests outside Columbia University after protesters blocked traffic for about an hour, demanding the Ivy League school declare itself a, quote, sanctuary campus against ICE. Meanwhile, in Minneapolis, protesters there have been setting up roadblocks, checkpoints, barricading off streets, all in an attempt to keep ICE agents at bay.
We are literally creating a place that we know who's coming and going in and out of our neighborhoods.
In the middle of the road at 32nd and Cedar Avenue, a makeshift roadblock turned this intersection into a roundabout. Cars slowed as drivers noticed, some honked, others asked questions, and one man brought food for the people standing watch. But Minneapolis police stepped in, clearing the roadblock. Residents say the roadblock was necessary.
We need to keep our neighbors safe, so we will be doing this again.
All right, Jesse, Greg is desperate to talk about Kyle Wagner, who was arrested in Minneapolis today, but we're going to start right here in New York City. You're going to have to hold that thought.
Thanks.
You're welcome. What's going on at Columbia? It's my alma mater.
It is?
Full disclosure.
Wow, that figures.
Only took you a few minutes of
Excuse me, it figures. It was. I will tell you one thing. There was no anti-Semitism on that campus when I went there. The school went out of its way to create an entire program called the School of General Studies, intended to recruit non-traditional students that was made up of like 75% Israeli students who started college later because they had to serve military service before they came here, and the program was geared towards that.
That's what non-trads are. They're 25 plus.
Things have changed.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wish we had mandatory military service. Greg would have served. He would have understood what it would have been like to hold a weapon and do push-ups. Maybe had his head shaved. But it
Why is everybody picking on me?
because you're an idiot, Greg, and you look like you belong in a catalog for sheep.
I was going to say, I'm picking on you because you're wearing mohair.
More problem.
Are we on television right now?
I don't know, man. You guys are taking the show down.
Yeah, I mean, it can't get any lower than it's been in a long time. The Columbia situation, it feels sad because it used to be a great school and you used to want to send your students there. But now there's this hardcore, radical, hostile faction that has destroyed the reputation of the university. And that's why a lot of parents are now sending their kids to the SEC, because even if it's an Ivy, you don't want to go anywhere near this place because some of these women are actually dangerous. Yes, there are some great professors. Yes, there's some bright kids there. But there is a hardcore group of women there that are making everyone's lives miserable. And I wish I could help them. I wish I had the time to help them. It's a big time commitment to sit them down and explain the definition of patriotism, what it's like to love another person. They don't love men. They don't love America. And these are lost souls. And sometimes I wish they could find Jesus. Sometimes I wish they had a boyfriend. Other times I'd maybe suggest exercise or having a drink. But these are things that we've now moved from an actual almost teetering into sending in the National Guard to hangers on. Now these are women that are playing dress up. This is a fantasy. They are now pretending to be Border Patrol agents. Because if you have a sanctuary city or neighborhood, they're now enforcing a border and have checkpoints about who they can let in and who they can't let in. I don't think they understand the irony of what's going on, but it's become now a little pathetic. And I feel sorry for these people, which is why we're going to be taking our show on the road. Jesse Waters Primetime will be going to Minneapolis next week.
Come on.
Wonderful.
Why don't you believe me?
No, I do, but you're supposed to only promo yourself in the last block.
Oh, no, we promote ourselves constantly on the show.
Kaylee, what do you make about these sort of, I mean, I hesitate to call them vigilante, right? Because that infers some kind of violence. I don't know what these people who are setting up the barricades are doing, but it is certainly a more aggressive tactic, more in line with things that we saw in Seattle a few years ago.
Yeah, and you're in good company. I went to Harvard Law School, so we've had our fair share of protests, still our fair share of acrimony with the
Legally Blonde, based on your experience.
I'll take that. But look, what I make of it is this: the left has a problem. I think conventional wisdom is that the right is on their back foot on the issue of immigration, and yes, there's polls that people can point to, but when I look beyond the polls and just use common sense, the left has a problem. Look, the left could take a victory lap now. They could say ICE is out of Maine. Senator Susan Collins spoke with the administration. They're out of Maine. They've been winded down in Minnesota, 700 agents out. Tom Homan's taken over. They could say we've gotten wins, and now it's time to move forward to the midterms. But they're not doing that. You have these protests happening. You have arrests. You have people laying down in roads. And the next 10 days are going to be very telling, because in about 10 days is when that DHS funding deal expires. And there is a wing of Chuck Schumer's party that is saying, we want the cessation of ICE operations entirely. And Chuck Schumer's internal polling, it's been widely reported, shows that while their base is critical of ICE, why most Democrats are critical of ICE, they do not want abolishing ICE, but they have a base that's demanding it. And this is a political problem going into the midterms.
Kennedy, another problem that people are picking up on here is amid the nationwide scaled protests, there are a lot of high schools that are encouraging students to do these walkouts. And a lot of them that are participating the most, turns out, are doing abysmally academically.
I think you're talking specifically about North Central in Indianapolis and Roosevelt in Chicago, where the English proficiency and literacy rate is around 24%. Math proficiency, not doing a lot better there. It's around 7%, 7-8% at both schools. And absenteeism at the Chicago school is around 70%. So they really need to invert some of those scores if they want to see some academic progress. That's me as a layperson giving them a little bit of education advice. What they really don't need to be doing necessarily is letting kids out of school and encouraging them to protest when they already have such rampant absenteeism. What they could do is have students talk about this in a civics class or an AP history class, and they can have discussions about this. They could also be forced to take the opposite side of what they believe and try and argue it from the government's perspective. Sometimes when you do that, it actually bolsters your arguments. Unfortunately, these educators and administrators, they're so hung up on being liked, like these mayors are in places like Seattle and Minneapolis and Portland, that they are being led by the mob. It's no different in these high schools. And in the process, instead of educating them, they're doing them a massive disservice.
Greg, now you can finally talk about Kyle Wagner.
I don't know who you're talking about, to be honest.
The guy who was arrested in Minneapolis.
I want to touch on what Kennedy's saying, because I think that this is the scariest part of this whole phenomenon. We just caught on, and we knew, but America kind of caught on that the college campuses were the ground zero for anti-Western, anti-American activism. So what happened? They moved it up to high schools. You start having these walkouts, and there's this indoctrination going on where they're teaching kids at an early age to become long-term organizers. So they get swallowed up by the chants. They fall in love with the attention. They get to do speeches. They are no longer, it's not just about classroom stuff. They're no longer curious about life. Like to them, this is so much more interesting than any hobby or any musical instrument or any language that they could learn. So it's funny, we've talked about the trans thing. Those were the body snatchers. Now it's the brain snatchers. They're going after these kids and they're intercepting them before they ever get to make a decision about their lives. And it used to be when your kids went to college, you would go, okay, this is a phase, but what happens if it's in high school? The Columbia Sanctuary thing is interesting because, they still get $1.1 billion from the government. So for projects, education, infrastructure, just take it away. If you don't want to act like a normal person, we're not going to treat you like a normal person. Pull all that money. Yeah, I think I could get from Jesse that he's bored by this topic.
How did you know?
Because you were so. But the point is, what you're showing is that it's because the agitators themselves have become boring. They've turned into one long sound. It's like somebody who is laying on the horn, and it's like this non-conscious thinking. It's just somebody laying on the horn, and everybody's tired of it. And that, I go back, I said it to yesterday, the agitator only has one function, and that is to disrupt. The issue itself is irrelevant. But the people that you target, whether it is an ICE agent or somebody who's running a yoga studio, they have all these functions that they got to deal with. So it's really easy to screw them up just by laying on the horn or screaming. It's a single function action like a car alarm. These are human car alarms. And that's why you're bored. And that's why you secretly love me.
That was Fox News, The Five. You learn something from them. It's crazy, though. We live in a different world. I remember in high school, I think that'd be awesome to get out and go protest or doing something, but we weren't into that. We weren't into politics. We were learning. We were learning about life. Different time, and it just drives people nuts. And even what they're protesting, again, that's not what's making sense. You know, they want to kick ICE out, and they're doing their job to get rid of these illegal aliens that came here illegally. There's a lot of people turning over in their graves over this one. Just crazy. For my next story, we're going to Anton Daniels. Niki Manaj goes off on Gavin Newsom. And he said the same thing I said before, is that I can't believe I'm listening to Niki Manaj. I guess he's got some good common sense. Have a listen. Anton Daniels.
What is some of the policies in California, given you've spent a lot of time there, that makes you think Gavin Newsom is Gavin Newsom? Is it the mass amount of illegal immigration and tax dollars being spent for legal and healthcare? Is it the failure to rebuild homes in the Palisades? Is it just pro-trans ideology and pushing that on kids in schools? What stands out the most to you?
And I'm glad you asked that, because I want to make it clear. I personally don't have an issue with the trans part of the LGBT at all. I am the biggest advocate for adults being able to do whatever the heck they want to do. They're adults. I don't care. I only mentioned something because when it comes to children, I wouldn't even allow my 17-year-old daughter to get breast implants. Neither, and most 99% of the parents would not let their 17-year-old child get breast implants. So if you wouldn't let a child get breast implants, you're not going to want them to have any kind of surgery, because we all know the brain is not developed. And we've heard about 19 times more likely to commit suicide. What more do you need to know? That a child is 19 times more likely to commit suicide if they have a surgery before they're an adult? So I just wanted to make that clear, because, of course, I don't judge, adults with, they can do whatever they want. With Newsom, it's the fact that with everything you said, but then having the audacity to be playing on Twitter, obsessed with Trump, trying to be Trump, trying to be funny when it's not. And then
you're so right.
Wanting to roll around in the mud with female rappers or whomever, and completely missing the plot.
I never thought in 2026 I would be sitting here listening to Nicki Minaj articulately illustrate exactly what it is that the majority of people understand, but a lot of people don't have the platforms or the voice to be able to communicate. She is 100% right. The biggest problem with this whole situation is that you have politicians trying to take Trump's blueprint. You can't do what Trump do. Trump is uniquely him, and you need to lean into whatever it is that you do. And not only do we see a California that is completely destroyed and run amok, but they're advocating for people to be able to make changes to children. That is demonic in every way, shape, and form. And she's 100% right.
I agree. I still can't believe it. Nicki Manaj. Is she really just a normal person? It's hard to believe. She's got some crazy songs. And she's not one of the type of people that I listen to, but I guess I have to open my mind and broaden my horizon. You just never know. For the next piece, this came from Donnie, who I'm going to introduce you next podcast. This is from The Grimm. 3 banned books solve 3 major problems with my life. And it actually is pretty interesting. Right up the elusive truth's alley. So, The Grimm. Have a listen.
3 banned books solve 3 major problems in my life.
Whatever problem you have, ask yourself, who benefits? Your problems are the Suki solutions.
I think the biggest problem of our time is focus. Distraction is destruction. No focus means no attention, means no impact, means no purpose, means no threat to the system.
There is a book that solves that?
Solved it for me.
Which book?
Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. It's about a future society where people have stopped reading. At first books are replaced by entertainment, and eventually the government makes reading illegal and burns books to control ideas.
Who bans a book where the main theme is book banning?
Very primitive people, or very effective people. The book was removed and censored by US school districts for decades. It was edited by publishers to make it less offensive. It was challenged in the media because it criticizes media, conformity, authority.
Ironic, isn't it?
This book showed me something uncomfortable. People in the book are constantly entertained. Big TVs, earbuds, quick news, shallow shows, no silence, no reflection.
And when was this book written?
1953.
This is not a book, but a prophecy.
Exactly. And it shows something else that we only see today. If you never practice focus, your mind starts skipping. If you don't practice concentration, you completely lose the ability.
Distraction becomes control.
The government doesn't need to force obedience. The population is already distracted.
Because people choose comfort over that.
But not all is lost. The book makes an interesting point. Focus is resistance. Paying attention, thinking deeply, and reflecting is a form of rebellion. Focus is the currency of freedom. That's what the book prophesied in 1953. So this book actually solved 2 problems for me. I received the manual to get back my focus and also the means. I started my reading habit 10 minutes in the morning with that book. I rebuilt my attention like a muscle.
10 minutes is enough.
Yeah, doesn't take much. Just no phone in the morning and always start the day with a book.
What was your second major problem?
FOMO, fear of missing out.
It sounds funny.
But it feels like a real fear. Always checking the news, always refreshing, always needing to be up to date.
And what is the book that saved you?
Brave New World, Aldous Huxley.
Isn't that about depression?
Actually, it's about a world where no one is oppressed, because no one resists. Everyone is stimulated. News, pleasure, comfort, noise, soma. The substance in the book that keeps everyone hooked is called soma.
Soma, to me, it's an acronym for social media. Soma.
And the book was written in 1931. Can you believe it? Prophetic.
Who censored the book?
Ireland, South Africa, Australia. But only now you see the full warning in the book. You don't need to censor information if you overwhelm people with information.
That's why the Suki stopped censoring the book. Distraction is more effective than censorship today.
Constant updates create anxiety, not clarity. The need to stay informed means staying distracted from your mission.
So, FOMO is control.
Yes. You end up policing yourself, checking, refreshing, commenting, sharing.
What changed after the book?
No more news updates, no more news sites. I only talk directly to people.
Reading this book fixes not just your FOMO, it fixes your anxiety.
This world is run like a ghost train. And when you read this book, you're no longer afraid of the smoke and mirrors. Your anxiety disappears because you see the mechanics.
What was major problem 3 in your life?
Power abuse. I trusted the power. That was a mistake.
Let me guess. problem solved by Animal Farm.
Banned in the Soviet Union, Eastern Germany, UAE, many school districts in the US.
This book exposes how stupid the masses are still today. They trust slogans instead of actions. They trust leaders who sound moral. They don't trust their fellow people, but the system they are in.
Oh, and it makes people polarized. They think our side can never be wrong. The book opened my mind. The book showed me step by step how leaders use simple language to stop people from thinking, how rules quietly change while no one is paying attention, how memory is manipulated.
And that's why this book still gets challenged. It teaches you how power actually behaves every fucking day.
There's only one remedy for this grim world: reading, focusing, understanding, then exiting the Suki system with like-minded people on your side.
So do you agree? Do you think those 3 books could help? Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I remember reading him in middle school and in high school. He was one of my favorite authors. I'm not that sure about The Brave New World. I guess I'll have to look into that. Aldous Huxley. Apparently, it will open your eyes to, I guess, the brave new world. And finally, Animal Farm, George Orwell. I'm going to have to read that again because, wow, my mind is totally gone on that one. What did you think? I thought it was pretty interesting. Go see him, The Grimm. He's got a lot of stuff that he talks about books. There's a lot of books out there that I guess the overseers, that you like to call them, don't want us to listen or read. So, changing gears, let's move on. Let's do a little something funny. Do you know of a lady called Amanda Meadows? She's worked at the Dollar Tree, the Waffle House. This is proof you can still eat good whenever your bank account ... Pretty funny. Check her out. Amanda Meadows. Have a listen.
I'm fixing to show y'all how I make my broke but blessed crock pot soup. Right, let's get started. First thing you gonna do, get you a thing of chicken like that. I paid about $6 for this. Put it on in your crock pot, huh? You're gonna take you about 4 cups of chicken broth. Y'all like my outfit? I got this at the Goodwill. Still got the Macy's tag on it too. I'm fixing to take it back, see if I can't get some store credit. I'm gonna let you guess what you do with this. Right, dump it on in there, Smooth. You're gonna get you a can of cannellini beans and drain them. And you just gonna dump that on in there, hon. Get you a can of rotel. And do the same thing, hon. Damn good. Add a half an onion, and if you're feeling real sassy, add you some jalapenos. I know I look damn good. Quit staring at me, hon. Put you a can of corn in there. Drain your corn first. Next thing you're gonna do is take you a couple tablespoons of this ranch seasoning. Throw you a little bit of garlic powder in there, hon. Put you a little bit of salt in there and a little bit of pepper. Now, you're just gonna give that a good stir, hon. Right. Now, you're gonna cook this on high for about 3-4 hours. When it's about 2.5, 3 hours, take your chicken out of there and shred it up, hon. Add it back in, and then add you a bar of cream cheese. Now, if you make this for your partner and they start asking if you need anything from the store, that's basically a proposal. Right, that's long-term behavior right there.
Much simpler time, a simpler place. I'm sure there's going to be people offended by that one. Anyway, that was awesome. Amanda Meadows. Check her out. She's on YouTube, does a lot of shorts. And now we're going to finally finish up today's podcast with, guess who rolled into town at 9 a.m. on a Friday? That's right, Tom McDonald. Pray for the left. Have a listen. Enjoy.
They always said that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi, then they celebrated after they killed him. They tried to tell us that Black Lives Matter and that white people have always been villains. They burning flags in the streets and they scream at police, taking illegals to prison. They They got rainbows on their bedroom walls, and they swear to God that men can be women. They're scrolling through their TikToks to get the news. They heard that Trump's a fascist. They swear it's true. They set fire to Minnesota. We smell the fumes. They say that guns are dangerous. Guess they're the proof. They'll shoot that red hat off your head, then make a meme of your last breath. 'Cause you're not like them, so they want you dead. But we'll still pray for the left. They'll say that they're hurt by things we said, and say we deserve it when we're dead. When we're shot in the neck with our last breath, we'll still pray for the left, praying for the left. They keep saying that ICE are the Nazis, so they're buying guns and tracking positions. Go tell the parents of the kids who were killed. Illegal immigrants are really the victims. They say America ain't safe if you're black or trans or gay. I think it's way more dangerous to be a Christian. Y'all started acting different back when Anthony Fauci made you keep the ones you love at a distance. They're scrolling through their TikToks, Antifa clips. They say that Trump is Hitler. They're mad they missed. They think that how they feel is how it is, and conservatives are evil. We shouldn't live. They'll shoot that red hat off your head, then make a meme of your last breath. 'Cause you're not like them, so they want you dead. But we'll still pray for the left. They'll say that they're hurt by things we said, they say we deserve it when we're dead. When we're shot in the neck with our last breath, we'll still pray for the left. Scratching swastikas and Teslas ain't gonna change a thing. You can burn our cities down, but we'll just make them great again. Oh, they hate us 'cause they say that we are full of hate. They wanna kill all the police trying to keep them safe. They'll shoot that badge of yours right off your chest. They want a civil war. Pray for the left. They'll shoot that red hat off your head, then make a meme of your last breath. 'Cause you're not like them, so they want you dead. But we'll still pray for the left. They'll say that they're hurt by things we said, and say we deserve it when we're dead. When we're shot in the neck with our last breath, we'll still pray for the left, praying for the left.
Wow, Tom MacDonald, another awesome song. Got to check him out. Tom MacDonald, Pray for the Left. I've played several songs from Tom MacDonald on this podcast through the years, and he just speaks the truth. I love him. That's my opinion, but I do. I wish I heard more of him on the radio. I haven't listened to regular radio in a long time. That's why you have downloads. Spotify, Apple, you know the drill. Well, I want to thank you for coming down the rabbit hole with me on this episode. Stay true to yourself, take care of yourself, and don't let anybody tell you differently. You are special. God loves you. We love you. And keep looking for that elusive truth. It'll set you free. I want to thank you again for listening, and we'll see you real soon.